Alright, let's take a look, guys. Looks like my Discord's bugged. I have to restart that one. Close Discord. Open Discord. See if it works now. Output. Yeti. Testing. Okay, that works. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to restart my computer because Discord tends to bug out. It's this really rare bug when you come out of standby mode and you turn on OBS. But I'm not getting any audio from my Discord, so give you a minute here. Technical difficulties. We'll be back in one. Alright, let's try this again, guys. See if we can get back on stream. If we can get Discord to boot. Got all our systems up and running. What is happening, Discord? Why am I not getting anything? Discord audio. Screw it, we'll use Zoom. Hey Jordan, can you hear me?
Hey.
Okay,
yes,
yeah, I got audio now. Finally. It took quite a while. So here's a rare bug. If you use Discord, you have several audio devices. You go in standby and then you switch audio device. It's gonna really screw up Discord. Like, do not do this. All right. So no Zoom. Discord will be enough for us, and we're right on time. So I'm gonna turn on my screen share.
Cool.
By the way, I just saw community is cool. Is that always a community reference, or is that just like a thing that's said?
That's where I got it from. I think some other things have similar jokes.
All right. So we're live, guys. I just need audio check for a minute.
I got it from. I think some other things have similar jokes.
All right. All right, audio is good. So I am joined by Jordan Penelle, the director of the short film, of course. This is the Calm Before Storm live stream, as I like to call it, as this is 1 week out from release week. Like, how are you feeling, Jordan? Like, feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm very excited. Things are going well. Audio's coming along. The visual editing's coming along. It's come along. So yeah, it's exciting time. 1 week till release.
Awesome. The one thing I wanted to do with you today was just go over some of those frequent questions we've been getting that we may or may not have answered in previous live streams, but we've made sort of a summary of those. Just a second, I'm going to make an announcement on Discord. Join us for a fun interview with Jordan. So for those of you who do not have the date, the final release date for The Divided States Strife, our short film, is November 21st. You can visit the thedividedstatesmovie.com to have that information, and the trailer is going live in 15 minutes. So I suggest I just look at the trailer with you right now before we start this off. Okay, Divided States. First I need to find my renderers. There we go. Official trailer.
Reports from the Foreign Ministry are dire. The United States has officially descended into a state of civil war. The Colossus of the New World has stumbled. Reports from the Foreign Ministry are dire. The United States has officially descended into a state of civil war. The Colossus of the New World has stumbled. Only God knows if she will recover, and in what state.
There you have it, guys. That was the trailer for the Divided States Strife, or short film, releasing next Sunday. So we have a bunch of releases lined up. Jordan, throughout the week, we've got World of Kaiserreich Father on Wednesday. Then we've got 3 music videos. I got all the themes that Carly put together for us. I put them into separate videos, and then we'll release those throughout the week, as well as a little webshop sale happening between the 20th and the 24th to celebrate live action release. So if you guys want to pick up a movie poster, that will be the time to do it. Jordan, just to get into questions with you, could you first, for people who are completely new, haven't got a live stream before, like, can you explain the Divided States Strife to us?
Yeah, so real quick, the Divided States Strife is Kaiserreich's first live action project. It's a short film that takes place in the late 1930s, early 1940s in an alternate history United States, where there's this big Second American Civil War, and we follow the story of one family at the very beginning in the kind of calm before the storm of the conflict. And it's basically a family talking about their allegiances, their ideologies, and what they should do as a family. And I won't give anything away, but it doesn't really go well.
All right, cool. So basically what we did the past few weeks is we've been doing a little promotional campaign for Strife, and we've also been reaching out to community, asking, like, you guys have questions, and we have a pretty big list of questions by now that we've answered in several live streams. But generally, I'm going to ask you some of those questions again, for those of you who have not seen you before, who are new to the channel. So I'm gonna pick a random selection of basically things we answered in the the initial Meet the Crew live stream, then the interview we did with you for the patrons as well before Strife came out.
Sounds good.
So this is a question you just answered, but Old Mammoth asks, like, what can you tell us about the plot of a film? Assume you just answered that. Family, Civil War, talk.
Yeah,
pretty much. So New England Border Guard asks, are you planning on making more short movies in the future?
Absolutely. The entire plan is that this is kind of like a test run of how well live action content does, and if it does well, we have a lot of things, a lot of ideas and things in the pipeline that we want to do, and hopefully we keep making more and growing the content in both amount and size, so eventually we maybe make a feature film or a TV type series, like a prestige series, like hour-long series.
All right, sweet. So here's a question from live chat that I can answer. Philippe Hilbert asks, when are you going to continue the documentary series, and when is the animated Divided States planning to be released? So that's a two-parter. First part, Hilbert. Second episode of the Kaiserreich lore documentary is planned for Christmas. However, we are having a knock-on effect because it is about the establishment of a commune of France, and that particular section of lore is being reworked. So we're actually waiting for the rework team to finalize that rework, so we actually have up-to-date lore. We don't want to do the video and then have it immediately be redundant because of the lore change. However, they are fairly close to a final draft, so we've already begun writing, so the next few changes that he could make probably will not affect us that much. The second part of that is the animatic, which is also, so we've locked all our voice actors, and we're currently working on contracts. By the way, Jordan, like, how are you doing health-wise? You got COVID. That's actually big news.
Yeah, I did a couple weeks ago. I'm good now. That was just me choking on my own spit.
Nice.
Yeah.
But everyone good on your end?
Yeah, everybody's pretty okay. About as healthy as we can be.
Yeah, considering.
Yeah, no, we're ready to get back to work and stuff, so we're looking for work.
Cool. Like, any idea where you caught it?
Absolutely no idea. Everybody we knew and would have interacted with has tested negative. My roommate didn't get it, who lives like right down the hall. So
Strange.
who knows?
Might have been like a bad cloud when you were walking down the street downtown Chicago.
Yeah, something.
All right. So a bunch of questions here. Oh yeah. First, animatic short film. So we're working. We have all the voice actors locked. Trailer animation is almost complete. Doing contracts right now. We're taking for Christmas as well. So Benjamin asks, are you including the Republic of Texas? I can quickly answer that. No, it's beyond the scope of the single short film. So Joe Doherty asks, like, do we have a New England appearance in the short film?
No, we don't have a New England appearance, mostly just because this takes place more in the Midwest of the country. But in the future, we plan to have stuff featuring every faction all over the country, just whatever we're interested and the audience is interested, we want to make it.
This also ties into another question I had, is about like what other regions are we planning on touching live action wise. Lately I've been getting a lot of emails from people, so one really good thing about this project is that it's brought out a lot of people who are in the film industry, also fans of Kaiserreich, and we'll have this conversation. We have a team meeting on Tuesday. I think a few interesting people have come forward from New England with an idea of doing something about in the Boston area. We also got people down in Texas. So we should definitely talk about. Let's see how practical that is for 2021. As always, guys, the main concern I have is a budget concern. So this short film alone took out half our yearly budget. So it means that like for the last 6 months we've been like not been able to spend money because of like how expensive this one project was. We're gonna try and do it again next year, but we're definitely like, we cannot spend money that we don't have, right? So we need to be careful because we're so close to zero sum or making a loss that we need to be like very careful and very think about like what the projects are that we want to pursue, especially in the live action sphere. Back to questions. So Klaus Elberg asks, like, if you need reenactors in the Midwest, I can help. Klaus, so this is what I say to everyone who has like costumes, those reenactments, is interested in being an extra, like drop me an email at vincent@kaiserreichcinema.com or use the contact list on the web shop. Same thing. Just let me know what you have, if you're interested, and what area you live in, and we'll add you to a contact list. Obviously, there's no promises because Jordan is in Chicago. The next project will probably also be in Chicago. We do not have the budgets to travel far now, especially during with the pandemic going on. It's very impractical. Maybe in the future we'll do shoots in other parts of the United States, but that's not something we can promise right now considering the circumstances. Benjamin Vlasak asks, will the Dominion of Canada get involved?
Our story takes place kind of before that is really relevant or would happen. So in this instance, no. In the future, who knows? I would love to do something featuring Canada and the Royalists and that whole political nonsense going on up there. But again, like we said before, we're open to anything. It's really what we can do, what the fans want, and what would be interesting as a story.
Cool. Jordan, I actually see you've got both Divided States posters framed up there. Can you move this one?
Do.
Can you show us that? Oh, that's nice. Where did you
look at those.
Where did you get the frames from?
Target.
So for those of you, like, you can just buy a paper poster and get a frame poster off Target. I actually prefer you not buy the frame version of the web shop because they're like the margins on those are so thin because of the shipping. It's actually better for us as well if you just buy the normal version. So Jack Reed, he asked a bunch of questions to our actors specifically. Obviously they're not here. We have another live stream, Meet the Actors. You can go watch that recording. So I'm going to scroll past these. So Steven asked, like, what was the hardest aspect of this production? Like, what was the hardest thing about making this film?
So for indie film production in general, locations are always hard just because we don't really have the pull of bigger films or TV shows, we're very dependent on just the whims of whoever owns the property, and then finding one that fits because this is a period piece. So we're pretty lucky to find 2 locations that were fully willing to cooperate with us and very easy to work with. They had basically no conditions, just, don't break anything, which we didn't. So that was definitely the hardest part, just leading up because we were still struggling. And then production during COVID. Production's already complicated enough. COVID-19 safety precautions put another level of complication onto that, but we overcame all these challenges thanks to our amazing producing team. Shout out to Sil and Lindsay, who are fucking champions.
It's true. Actually, I have some. I'm gonna pull these up. These really cool behind-the-scenes pictures we have, where you can see so like people wearing masks, all the social distancing going on. Let me see if I can find those pictures he'll send me. Okay, I think this is them. Right, so let's take a look at these. So this is the film crew posing before the Fargo truck. We've had a conversation. This is the same truck that you can see in Fargo with the new season coming out. Blah blah blah. Well, we'll probably repeat that often. So let's not do another 15-minute rant about that one truck. So that's the house, the location. Here we have Paige Bourne in the truck. She plays Victoria in the short. We've got our producers driving the truck. These are a bunch of small pictures. I'm gonna see if I can scroll past them. So here you can see this is Chris, director of photography. Like there's a bunch of, so everyone had to wear masks on set. There was social distancing going on. It's obviously not easy. I think even you were screening outside of the room where the acting was happening, right? I remember seeing pictures, Jordan, of you like being in the kitchen while the shot was going on.
So what we had basically was everybody's supposed to wear a mask because of course, and the only people who could be allowed to not wear a mask were the actors when they were on screen and we were shooting. Any other time they had masks back on. And then if things like makeup for the actors had to get put on, because they can't have the mask on during that, the makeup person would have to put a mask on and then a face shield, because SAG-AFTRA, which is the acting union in America, had a condition, because we worked with SAG-AFTRA actors, that there had to be 2 barriers in between 2 people if they had to be closer than 6 feet and not have a mask, and all sorts of these like little conditions and safety things that we had to follow.
Actually, I have some pictures of Taylor here doing either makeup or miking with barriers.
Miking.
Yeah, she's
miking up actors.
Got here's makeup. As you can see, they have both a mask and a face shield on. So the only time that we actually have these really cool shots of the actors like rehearsing a scene with their masks on, looks kind of weird. You can't see my screen, Jordan, but I'll just give you the breakdown of what I've got on here.
I got the stream on.
Oh, you got the stream on here. Yeah, it's gonna be with somewhat of a delay, but I get the idea. That's AJ. It's Jordan in the kitchen doing his thing, watching the screening.
No, I remember that picture. We're talking about just planning out the shots for the day, and that's me at the monitor there. I see.
All right. So a bunch of more questions. Chat is moving. Let me see what they asked.
Yes. I saw a good question. Vampire, what kind of research has gone into the short film? What sources, stories, and history helped inspire? So a lot of our inspirations historically was mostly for the visuals. Our art department head, Megan, I sent her a bunch of materials. A lot of pictures of mostly the Spanish Civil War was a big inspiration just for the aesthetics and also the setting too. Like that is the thing we kept going back to and telling our actors about, like for historical comparison. That was a big one, and as far as the story goes, it's more so inspired by the American Civil War, the actual one, and that idea of brother against brother and tearing families apart.
Yeah, actually, we talked a bit about the costumes a couple of days ago in the Ask a Dev channel. No, sorry, in the Q&A channel on Discord. So you mentioned that some of those costumes were based on some of Hussar's designs that you've been making.
Yeah, Hussardcore, who is an artist in the Kaiserreich community, who I'm sure most of you know. But
he's actually part of the crew as well. He does concept art in the United States. Yeah,
awesome. He has this series of drawing the soldiers of various factions in the Kaiserreich world. So there's a whole series about the American Civil War, and that's where we got a lot of our inspiration in the designs for the uniforms we made for the costumes.
Yeah, obviously, uniforms one of those things that's very hard to do on a budget. I think you guys pulled through really well. We've got some shots here of Mother, Anita Costabile, we got Paige Bourne, then we got George, Jake Anderson in a white shirt. This picture I really like of Paige on the monitor. So a bunch of people ask, like, if I wrote a script for a short film, will it be accepted? Short answer, no. Long answer, like, don't just send me a script, guys. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for in a crew is, well, a crew, and practicality to it. Like, so I would like to see a script. That's one thing. I would also like to see, like, these are the people that I want to work with. These are their backgrounds. This is the budget we have in mind. This is the location. Like, I'm definitely looking for teams who have done this before, who have a lead on locations, and that's definitely when I become interested in a project. This is, for example, Jordan, what happened with you. You came to me, I want to say January-ish. This was pretty. It took a while between.
I think it's February, March-ish.
Yeah, it was definitely way, like, there were several months between us talking about project and actually moving into production. But
yeah.
So Jordan came to me with a script. I had a great feeling about the script. It was about a family, basically the American Civil War condensed into sort of a family drama, which I loved. I also liked the idea that it was a lot of interior locations, which means that it's not like opening shot is 17 planes bombing New York, because at that point you need to, that's like VFX, like there's no way we can afford that. As well as, like, you had this crew behind you, you had, we had Seal, and you had the producers with you in the very beginning. Lindsay was there, and I just had a really good feeling about you guys, and that's like, then I said, okay, give me a few months. We don't have the money right now. We may have it in a while, and then a few months later I was like, okay, Jordan, let's do this. I want this to happen. You can start shooting. And here we are. We are releasing our first short film, Jordan Penelle, as director, in 1 month. So a couple of people ask, like, what historical figures will get involved?
In the short film, none. There are no historical figures.
Pretty much.
There's references to MacArthur and Huey Long, and that's about the extent of it. So yeah, look forward to that.
So you can see, actually, I've got a picture up here of some of the crew and cast. We have Paige, we have a bunch of CSA militia. They actually have, so the weapons were made from carbon fiber that was painted, if I'm not mistaken.
So the weapons are all like plastic toy recreations that were painted by our props master Tyler, and they look really good on camera. Like, you can barely tell they're fake.
Yeah, from this distance, actually, really realistic look.
Especially in movement too. Like, just that's a gun.
Yeah, I love this. I wish we had more shots of these militia. I think we have like some really cool Sachel here as officer. Some really cool things. It's always interesting. We got a picture up of Paige standing before like the resort inn. I assume where you shot the outdoors things with a modern surgical mask on, so it looks super hilarious. Here's Jordan. Is actually not only director, you're also CSA militiaman number 3.
Wow, yeah. Number 2, I think, technically.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, we had a shortage of extras, so I mean, those scenes, there's like no dialogue, so we're just like, all right, I'm gonna get in, give me some clothes.
So
yeah.
Oh, I made a mistake. I need to click you. Okay. So we got a bunch of behind the scenes shots here. We got Jordan in the truck, as he was also doubling as a CSA militiaman. Sorino TM asks, like, how long will the final short film be?
The final film is clocking in at around 9 to 10 minutes in between, I think, last I checked.
Okay.
So yeah, look for that.
Yeah, cool. Omar Bradley asks Seal, this was during the production live stream, like how long did production take, like the whole film?
So from our first meeting, so I actually look back, I sent you that email in April. So
okay.
from that moment, I think we started production like in earnest in June. That's when we started our casting process. That's at least when we put up our casting call, I think. And that's when we started having production meetings and planning out what exactly we're doing and hiring crew. So what is that? June, July, August, September, October, November. So about 6 months.
Yeah, 6, 7, I would
year,
say.
yeah. Which sounds right.
So related question: New England Border Guard asked, how many people did it take to film the movie? Like, what was the crew size?
I think our crew size was about 15 people at its highest point. And then we had a couple other people who didn't show up to set just because their job didn't include that. So I would say about 20 to 24 people was our total crew size off the top of my head, I think.
Actually got an interesting question from Nico Sporn. Or if we're going to use After Effects to include battle scenes in future movies. So I think what Nico means is, like, will there be VFX? Not immediately, because that's definitely something where, like, it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort to make that look good, and it's really easy to make it look super cringy if it's not done well. We've thought about some alternatives, actually, in the idea of having actually drawn a mix of live action and drawn sequences for battle scenes not in the Divided States, but more in like an experimental short project. I would love to have like a cool battle scene in a live action, but it's not realistic. It's not within our means right now, if we're being honest. I think you probably have ideas about this, Jordan.
Yeah, I have concepts. There are ways to do it with, like, make a battle with a very small amount of people. We'll have to figure it out and talk about that.
Yeah, it's not happening. Did you know there's a new show on Netflix? It just popped up in Europe. It's called Liberators, and it's basically all green screen with sort of, you should check it out.
It's like rotoscoped, I think.
Yeah, it's not
rotoscoped.
I've seen it, like
trailers.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it looks like a filter rotoscope. I don't know, but I've seen it. I don't know, it's kind of off-putting to me.
I think you should give it like a full episode, because in Belgium it's reached top 10 right now, which is actually very impressive for like this really niche thing. That's generally not what I was expecting. Yeah, it's like, you know that movie Scanner Darkly? It's kind of like that, where it's like it's live action, but it was probably like studio filmed and then with a lot of 3D happening around that.
Yeah. So yeah, bottom line, we'll figure it out.
So Wham asks, thank you for your answer. Did you look at American Union history or newspapers for inspiration on dialogue and details?
So for dialogue, so the way people talked back then, it's kind of hard to find just normal conversation. The only thing you really get is movies and radio and news stuff, which that's not how people talked. Yeah, so at that point, I kind of took just an artistic liberty of just, they're gonna speak normally how we speak now, because it's gonna be weird if we have them talk in a transatlantic accent, which is the only references I could find.
Yeah.
But other than that, a lot of things is very accented. I feel accents were more pronounced back then, especially like Southern accents, Midwestern accents, which were kind of Southern. It's very weird and interesting, the linguistic history of America and how accents work. So to simplify things, we just said they're going to talk however the actors speak.
Someone on the on Pager World of Kaiserreich thing commented like, "I just can't get over the Minnesota accent. Yeah, break the chains, eh?"
Well, I'm gonna break your chains, eh? All right now.
Actually, halfway point of the stream, I wanna take a quick minute to tell you guys about FlagMaker. Put a little promo in there as we always do. So as you know, a lot of people have been asking us to for a way to create custom flags. We actually made a special web shop for this. This is a spin-off project that's also helping us fund Kaiserreich Cinema by selling custom flags. If you go to FlagMaker and print now, you can design your own flags and print them. It's the same flags as you could get with Kaiserreich Cinema, but obviously it's whatever design you want. So you can upload your own PNGs, upload your own vectors, put them here, and begin editing a flag. Load any country. Let's say I load Algeria, for example. I want to change this, make this black. This was actually designed by some colleagues of mine who we worked together in the video games industry. So we took a little side project to basically make a web app, which was pretty fun. So as you can see, new flag, and then I can just press print my flag and we're gone. End of commercial. Continue. I just got you eating, Jordan. You thought that was gonna be like a 10-minute thing?
Hold on, two people are talking to me. Okay. Yes. No. I mean,
I'm pretty fast with those embedded commercials. So we couldn't find a YouTube sponsor, so we made our own.
Nice.
So now, not for Strife, but the video after I'll probably have something like and now a word from our sponsor, and it's just gonna pop into me with a different shirt on, which is like, it's me. I'm the video sponsor. All right. Back to questioning. So we already I got a bunch of COVID questions. You already basically answered that. So let's go down. Common out food tables. Okay, live stream script COVID related. We have a lot of COVID related questions. My God, I've got like 1/3 of the questions.
It's a very thing people are thinking about.
Yeah. You'd say it's a big thing. So UIPSA asks me, how did you manage to get enough money to do this? So as guardian of the budgets, I can answer that. That is mostly thanks to our Patreon contributions and web shop sales. The uptick in sales on our July 4th sale was a big help, although we are very broke right now because this short, as I said, took off half our yearly budget. We don't have much more money than what it costs to make this. For those interested in Kaiserreich Cinema's finances, we're transparent about it. So we actually publish a public report at the end of the year and a live stream. It's called the State of the Cinema live stream. I will host it on January once I have the budgets for this year completed. It is supremely boring. It will last for 2 hours and 30 minutes of me and like 5 guys looking over the Excel sheets and being like, "Oh, we should increase our live action budgets by 4%. But wait, if we can get it down, deposit mortgage on the 3%. Blah." I don't know, whatever. My English is not that good. I don't know financial things. So, Jordan. How did you meet cast and crew? Where did everyone come from? Let's start with production.
Yeah. So the crew is 95% people I know from film school. I met there and have worked with there. We'd worked on a bunch of projects in film school and outside. And yeah, these are people I trusted and know. So that's where I went to for crew. As far as casting, we used a couple websites, mostly Backstage, which is a casting website for actors. So we mostly used that, and we went through the casting process, auditions, and that's how we met the actors.
Yeah, Backstage has been really good for us. For Animatic as well.
Excellent,
we had how many auditions did we have for the live action?
You said 200, between 200 and 300, some enormous number.
that was Animatic, 260, I think, or no, I think the Animatic was more. It was in the 400s.
The Animatic was much more. I think we had around 180.
Yeah.
Total submissions.
I'm getting a stream cut out on my end. I'm not sure if that's...
A lot of pictures of mostly.
Let me just check if... No, looks like everything's Animatic. 260, I think, or... No, I think we should be good. All right. So the weapons we used were not real. If you ever shoot here, we actually do have I have a bunch of like weapons with the mechanics from Denix, I think, Spanish company. Really cool. If you ever have like $200, you can get one of those. You can get like a real M1 Garand rifle. They're really cool.
Yeah, we looked into that, but it's a little
for one shoot. Yeah, if like you end up doing like a ton of content, like a single
like a series, yeah.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of questions for the actors here. Obviously, actors and audio guys. If you have questions for the actors specifically, you should check out the Meet the Actors live stream. Also, next week, before the release, we'll do an avant-premiere live stream with everyone, like cast and crew. That will be at about, what's that in CST, Jordan? It's between 12 and 1 a.m. Europe time.
What time is it? 12 and 1.
Europe time. So that's -7 Chicago, -8 or 7 Chicago.
7, I think.
1 a.m.
So that's
Europe.
like 5, 3 to 5.
Yeah, no, should be 5 to 6 p.m. Chicago. That would make it 4 to 5 p.m. EST, and I have no idea about Pacific. This is why we use the Google Calendar events, guys. Like we have so many time zones, it's super confusing.
Time zones are hard.
Marcus is in Vietnam half the time, which like then moves it all the way up to the end. It gets crazy. So Benjamin asks if Texas would ever be involved. So again, these are really specific questions that we'll touch on when we're specifically doing something about Texas. The other questions are from John Jack Reed. Oh, this is the costume question we just answered, so we got that. We also got people that want to get involved in the live action. What can you tell us about the plot? We do have that. I want to pivot back on your plans on more short movies in the future. Like, can you talk a bit about like what you have? You talked previously about some ideas you had about doing something in a pub, like an old classical pub with.
Yeah. So obviously there's follow-ups following the characters. One would involve George actually going south and meeting people along his way. One is about Victoria in Chicago doing things. I don't want to give too much away.
What a title! Victoria in Chicago.
I know, right? The divided states. Things.
Victoria's day off.
Victoria's big day. And yeah, I know there's a very popular Union of Britain, mostly downfall type deal. And then one idea I had was it's kind of like, I'm calling it A Night in Chicago, where it's basically in this not quite speakeasy thing in Chicago. It's a nightclub, but very inspired by speakeasy gangster type nightclubs. Where it's just a night from the point of view of these two bartenders, basically just a bunch of different characters walk in, workers getting off a shift, People's Liberation Army coming in, gangsters coming in, international spies coming in, and basically just what these bartenders see and these conspiracies and hijinks going on.
Have you ever seen, I think it's Hemingway, the author that went to the Spanish Civil War. Is it Hemingway?
Yeah, I think that's Hemingway.
Yeah, he has a whole thing about like a scene in a bar, which is really interesting, and I'll send it to you after this, because I think it could be great inspiration. And it's about him being in this bar and like people come in and out and they talk about the war, but it's not like, they're not actively fighting. It's just about how people are experiencing the war, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting and very simple.
Yeah. Another idea we had for live action was the downfall thing, to do a Union of Britain thing. If we can find a British actor in Chicago. I'm not sure how hard that is.
I don't think that should be too hard, or at least somebody who can do a passable accent.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. That starts to be complicated because that's not the wrong accent, my guy. That's Manchester. This guy needs a London accent.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a thing we'll deal with in the future. But yeah, no, that's just something I've been interested in because I love Downfall. It's a fantastic film. And if we were to do that, I mean, I have concerns and excitements about that. But yeah, that's an idea that's been pretty popular for a while now.
Yeah, it's one of the things, and one of the reasons I'm interested in something like a Downfall project with Mosley as well is I think it could also work as a stage play. And one thing we're sort of keeping in the back of our mind, if we ever want to do like a convention, I would love to do like a small convention in Chicago. It would be really cool to have.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
If we do it in Chicago, it's not that hard, for example, to have like Rachel Hardy fly in and do like sets, play music. We do some of the music we've covered. We'd have like an on-stage a screenplay. I'm not sure how you call that in English. Is that a screenplay?
More like a stage play version of it, or I don't know. We can do stuff.
So stage play, like I think there's a lot we can do with these one actor sort of monologue style content things. So we've got three things actively being researched, which would be then the sequel to Strife 2, to recap, would be the Downfall thing, and would be the Night in Chicago project. I think those are three good projects for us to see like what we can do budget-wise 2021. Then, aside from Jordan, we have two other film crews that reached out to us, one from the New England area who have a really cool location. Another one that doesn't have a location, but they do have like a lot of reenactors and people who are very excited about the project. So maybe in the future, but that is not as concrete. So definitely, I think 2021 we'll be seeing Jordan return with another project. Not sure which one. So that's going to be a budget talk. So I got a bunch of questions for the askers here, for the actors here. More COVID questions. Always are COVID questions.
Always with the COVID.
We're almost through all. Like we summarized these questions, and because a lot of them were quite similar. We got a couple more, but I think we should probably like given our 10 minutes of live stream then cut it because it's gonna drag on if unless like chat has more questions. We already answered a lot of them. Omar Bradley asked us, how did you communicate with the crew in Chicago all the way from Belgium during filming? How did you manage to coordinate from such distances?
So thankfully the actual physical crew is all Chicago based or greater Chicago area based. So that wasn't too hard. The biggest thing was with Vincent because he's in Belgium and we're all over here in Chicago. But that was basically just, we set up a time for weekly meetings, and then because production meetings are one of the most important things in the filmmaking process, just making sure everybody is on the same page. So with those meetings, Vincent was able to be fully in the loop pretty much whenever he wanted to be. We had pretty good communication that really carried this project through, especially with an international team.
I'm really happy with the way things ended up coming down. We're seeing like the final lock of the video now coming in. So that's it. We're almost done. It's a wrap. I think we had a really good trajectory. So I'm excited to work with you guys again for future projects. In a post-COVID world, I do hope to come to Chicago, be there in person, help out on set. But it's definitely like both in terms of money, because that would like a ticket to Chicago plus hotel would now cost $1,000 on a movie that costs about $7,000. It's gonna add like 15% to the budget alone. So we're definitely seeing what's possible in that space. Another option is to actually fly you to Belgium. We're bringing you back to the motherland, Jordan, because Jordan is actually he's actually hidden Belgian. He doesn't say that, but he sort of like 2 live streams ago he sort of started some random shit about the Belgium being practically French, and I was almost like, Jordan, qu'est-ce que tu fais? So do not listen to Jordan when he says Belgium is French.
I said culturally they're very similar.
Absolutely not. Sacre bleu. So it's actually bringing Jordan to Europe, because we actually have a few people in this area as well. We have in the London area, we actually have Alex, who is also, he's doing all our radio stuff. He's an actor, so he will be very excited to do a project. We have that submarine thing that we don't really talk about, as that's a big secret. Mostly a secret because we don't think we'll be able to do anything with it for the next 2 years because of budget. Very expensive set. So yeah, there's a bunch of options open for us in things that we can do. So I think we're almost at the end of our questions for this live stream. So there's going to be one more. But before we end, Jordan, I just would like you to give us, like, what is your idea of the character of Victoria and George? So that's a question that people ask the actors. I would actually like to have you answer it now. Like, what are these characters? You designed them, you came up with them. Like, how do they see the world?
Yeah, so let's start with Victoria, because she's kind of the start of it. She was kind of the first thing. So I've said before, this entire idea and script started as a film school project, and Victoria was kind of the crux of that. Originally, it was just her and her dad arguing in a basement for like 5 minutes. So Victoria is really this... She's strong, but she's also extremely just naive and kind of not foolish, but foolhardy almost. She, of course, like all young people, thinks she has all the answers. And so as a part of this revolutionary group, she thinks she is, to borrow some of the lingo, the vanguard of that revolution. She is a trailblazer. She is making the change in the world that all young people want to do. They want to change the world. And she thinks, wow, I'm actually doing it in like a really big way. So yeah, Victoria, she's very headstrong. She's very set in her convictions. But as the story grew, I kind of changed her a bit so maybe she's not as, headstrong and maybe not as convinced. A lot of the characters' dialogue and what they say, I got this idea of them being very much inspired by propaganda, like, because these are young people. They have strong opinions, but they're maybe not the most knowledgeable about them, especially at the time. There's not this huge amount of information available, so what they get is mostly stuff they read on pamphlets or posters, basically propaganda, and so that's what they spout. And yeah, so that's Victoria and kind of George, I guess. So that's Victoria, and then George.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you were saying.
I was just gonna throw a joke, but like we missed the window. No, okay. Please continue.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so George, he's kind of an opposite side of that coin, where Victoria was very open about her revolutionary fervor, let's say. George kind of keeps it more restrained and more internal, and he really only lets it be known when he's kind of had it and is ready to actually make that leap. He may have had before sympathies for the American Union state, but now he has vocalized his support and is ready to go all in and take the leap and go south and join the Union state.
So you would say
so he's much more the quiet type, and no, he doesn't feel any less strongly than Victoria, but he's maybe more quiet about it. And then he very much, because he's the youngest in the family, he's been treated as a child and still is. And so this is kind of his way of fighting back against that. So Victoria and George, kind of two sides of the same coin of revolutionaries.
So you would say that the actual moment in the short film where George sort of declares that, the Sydneys aren't Americans, that's actually the moment where he decides, like, I'm going to go south. Like, it's a spur of the moment thing.
That's kind of like his that's kind of his call to action, of people saying that he's being silly and ridiculous and not taking him seriously. And then in the film, he says it out loud and makes it real, because once he says it, it's real. He is an American Union state supporter. He's not just a kid.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So yeah, that's a little breakdown from Jordan, director of the short film for the upcoming Divided States Strife. November 21st, we have a live stream between 4 and 6 p.m. depending on where you live, Coast Central, or between 12 what is 0000 hours in like AM? That like 0 AM, 12 PM.
It's very complicated in the US. I think we just say it's 12 a.m.
The US
It's 12
complicated?
PM.
No, well, I never.
Who'd have thought?
It's about 2 ounces and 3 feet after 12. All right, guys. So November 21st, the Divided States Strife short film releases. We're super excited. This is a project we've been working for months on. Jordan has put so much of himself into this project. His entire crew, Lindsay, Seal, AJ, like there's too many people to mention. It's such a cool project, and we definitely look forward to seeing the short film, sharing that with you guys, and then seeing new projects from you in 2021. For those of you who want to sign up to the emailing list, thedividedstatesmovie.com. If you'd like to support us, you can always buy merchandise or join our Patreon through kaiserreichcinema.com, the link to which I will post right now. There we go. And that is it for today. I would say we call it here, and then I will see you in exactly 1 week and 2 hours for the big one, the actual live stream. We've got all the crew, we got all the cast. It's gonna be
happening, guys.
The big one will be watching Strife before release together, and then we'll do the dev commentary. I'd love to hear like you guys talk about these shots and like, hey, what was this scene about? What was this about? So that's what's gonna be happening next week. Throughout the entire week, Strife release week, we will be posting first off all the World of Kaiserreich videos of the characters, the monologues. We will also be posting the music that Carly used, really cool music. We've dubbed them character teams. So we've got a video on, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like four videos throughout the week. So we should be good, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you all there. Join us on Discord if you haven't already. And that is all I have for you. Jordan, you have anything else to add?
I just like to say thank you so much to Vincent and the community for being so incredible. Your guys' support and excitement, I see it almost every day when I check in on the Discord. I'm so happy to be a part of this. And yeah, just thank you all so much for the support.
All right. So that's all we got for today for you folks, and we will see you in 1 week. So until next time, and have a good afternoon. It's like, yeah, afternoon. We will see you in 1 week. So until next time, and have a good ending afternoon. It's like, yeah, afternoon. We will see you.